Welcome back to the Better Than Best Academy. It's your host, Red, and today my guest is nothing short of extraordinary. He is a writer, music producer, all the way across the pond in Manchester, UK. His name is Patrick Jagger, and I'm super excited to get into a interesting conversation with this extraordinary guy. Before we start, I always like to break the ice, Patrick, and I would love to ask you what would make today's conversation extraordinary?
Wow, that is a tough question. Got me off guard there, Red. I think just to inspire somebody to build their own project, work on their passions, and to hopefully inspire one of your listeners to create a better life for themselves, a happier, healthier life.
Most of my audience might be meeting you for the first time. I would love for you to just kind of share who is Patrick Jagger?
Oh, be a pleasure, mate. So I'm 34 years old from Manchester, England. I know I don't look it, but yeah, from Manchester, England. I've been for the past 5 years. I've been building my own online businesses, which include writing online, selling music, licensing music, and also an Etsy seller as well.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. What was it that got you into this?
Well, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and I've always enjoyed. I'm always twitching to work on passion projects and side projects, because I've never been fully satisfied in my full time employment. I kind of fell into a job which I don't really really like. It's just not me. So I kind of have to work on my own projects on the side. So I kind of was forced into it. And then a few years ago in 2020, I lost 3 jobs. I got made redundant or laid off 3 times in 2 years. So that was pretty brutal. So therefore, it just kind of fanned the flames within me to start building my own projects and standing on my own 2 feet.
Man, I love that. And I agree. I've got that entrepreneurial spirit, that itch to follow
Mm.
so many different passion projects. You said that you make music. I'm interested to hear a little bit more of that. Like what got you started into making music?
Well, that's kind of my trade, if you will. So I've always played in bands. I'm a guitarist, stroke bass player, but yeah, songwriter. So I've been producing music for about 10 years, on and off.
I love it.
So yeah, that's just what it'll never leave me. That I was speaking to a friend the other day about. He was asking, "Oh, you still doing music?" And I'm like, "I think I'll always be doing music." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I've realized now that it'll just never leave me. So I can't. I've got too many songs and too many ideas to record.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I totally can relate with that. I actually was a rapper for like 10 years, and obviously I'm still writing music. I don't
Mm.
necessarily like pursue rapping full time because there was a time where that's where my life pivoted. But as you can see behind me, the drum photo and my little green screen. But yeah, I played drums for my church for close to almost 10 years now. So yeah, music has always been a huge part of my life. So I definitely can relate. And I think it's something,
Yeah.
there's just something about, I feel like we were created to create. And some people don't get that. And for some people, it's not music. Some people, it's not art. But I feel like even business is a level of creativity. And I'd
Oh,
love to hear
absolutely.
your thoughts to kind of dive in a little bit deeper in this idea of creativity. When you hear the word creativity, what do you think?
Well, I actually believe that a human being's natural state is a creative state. So if you've nothing, no healing to do, and you've that is how you're either healing or creating. To me,
Yeah.
that's like the fundamentals of it. And so I just feel like everybody has creativity within them, but they just might not have found the right thing for them. Like I said, it could be music, writing, building businesses. It's I think you could even include sport in creativity. You watch. I'm a football fan or a soccer fan, as you might say, and you could be a creative midfielder, couldn't you? So
Yeah.
I think our natural spirit is one of creativity, and it's something that I've I've always personally, I'm not satisfied unless I'm working on a project. So, whether it's music or business, I'm just kind of, I don't know. I feel like that's where we find our fulfillment, and that's what we're meant to be doing. There's this term that you hear, the term the creator economy. I
Yeah,
feel like it's not a new thing. That's the creator economy was born when we were when we were created
seriously.
by the
Yeah, that
creator.
yeah, I love that idea. I think that creativity and healing also are one and the same because I can think back when I was writing a lot more songs than I do get to now. And there was these spaces in my life that the words that I wrote were a healing not only for the people I was trying to reach with the music, but for myself. And
Mm.
I believe that so strongly that like we were created to create. I'm curious, what would your like one big piece of advice be for someone? So say someone's listening to this podcast right now, or maybe they're listening to a clip later, whatever, and wherever it finds them. What would be that one piece of advice you would tell somebody that's wanting to get started in this creator space?
Well, it just to find your inspiration, find whatever inspires you the most. Go after that. So if you whatever you enjoy the most, whatever you're most inspired by, start doing that and start applying and learning to so you can begin to pursue projects and a career in that. So if you love music and you're inspired by music, then start to learn an instrument or start to produce. If you like to write, then I'd suggest to read. So read lots and then start to write. I'd just find your inspiration and go after it, because the space for everybody in this in the creator economy. So everyone can contribute.
I love that. Find your inspiration. I'm curious to hear, Pat, what inspires you to create?
Well, well, like I said, I'm a musician first and foremost.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really inspired by people who are building their own personal brands, like such as yourself, and who are writing on Twitter, creating videos. I just think that's really inspired. I'm inspired by people who are taking control of their own destiny and going out and doing what they enjoy doing, and then which will then eventually lead into a career or a lifestyle where you're happy and fulfilled. So yeah, other people who are creating on YouTube, on Twitter, on TikTok, I find that most inspiring.
I love
I've
it.
not created a YouTube channel myself yet, but it's on the list.
It's coming. I love that. That's so cool. If you could have an honest conversation with the person who has influenced you and your thinking around this creator economy, what would you ask them and discuss with them?
I would ask about how to use your strengths and interest, and to be able to take those strengths and interests and convert them into an offer.
Yeah.
So some sort of product or a service to sell, because I find that is one thing a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
they might to find that offer. So if I had the opportunity to speak with a well-known creator, then that would be it. I'd really want to know how they would go from that, taking that strength, that interest, that passion, and transferring it into an offer.
It's awesome. I'm
Everyone wants to
curious.
live
Yeah.
off their passion, don't they? Everyone wants to get up and do something they love, and be able to feed the family doing what they
Oh, yeah.
enjoy.
That's the goal for so many, especially those listening.
Yeah.
I'm curious, I'm sure the people at home, who would you say are your top 3 biggest influences and inspirations in that creator economy space?
There's a guy called Justin Welsh. I think he's very inspiring. Do you know him from Twitter and
I
LinkedIn?
haven't seen him.
Yeah, Justin Welsh. He's a writer. He does his newsletter called The Solopreneur.
He's
I think it's called the Saturday Solopreneur. It's
good.
called.
That's cool.
Also, Dan West. who's another writer on Twitter. Do you know Dan?
Yeah, I've seen Dan.
Yeah, just because he's actually doing it. He's doing that.
Yeah.
He he's built a business and he's moved to Bali and he's actually living the life. You know, and also just the fact that he tried so many businesses and learned and then took everything he learned, moved to Bali, and now he's living the laptop lifestyle over there.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
And then there's a kid called Jay Yang on Twitter. I really like. Yeah,
Awesome.
he's only young. I think he's 18, 19, and to see what he's done by such a young age is very inspirational.
Yeah, there's some young people, especially on Twitter, and they're
I
just
know.
crushing it. It's so cool. It keeps me young, I feel like.